My name is Joy, and this over here is Jackie. I'm going to tell you a couple things about myself, and then I'm going to throw it over there. So I'm Joy. I'm an executive director with Color Street. And don't let this pretty face fool you. There's a party going on the bottom. It's just how I roll. Like, got to be real. If you're not wearing fuzzy pajamas on the bottom, are you even a Color Street stylist? So I am a mom and a wife and a taxi driver, and I've made hoodies part of my brand because I'm brilliant and I get to wear hoodies all the time now. See? All right, Jackie, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I am a senior director with Color Street. I've been with the company for about 2.5 years. I am also a wife to my husband. He works for the railroad, so I call myself a railroad wife. And I have a 9-year-old son. He is my one and only, which is something we absolutely love. And for those of you wondering, because I always get this question, are you going to have more? Did you want more? Nope, he was handful enough. That was it. We were good with one. So no, Liam is it. But I do my Color Street business as my full-time job, obviously on part-time hours, which is great. But here at the Wood household, we love hanging out, watching Star Wars. What else do we love? We just got into Game of Thrones, which is an interesting show.
I haven't watched
We're
that
a little
yet.
behind the 8 ball, but that's what we do. We hang out, we spend time together, go to powerlifting meets for my husband, do sports for my son, and that's kind of it.
That is awesome. See, we're just loads of fun. Most of the time though, I'm just in my car because, 3 teenagers. That's just what you do. You
That's
drive
the life.
a lot.
Mhm.
Okay, so Jackie and I had really been looking at our parties and our party averages and just different things, and we were like, oh gosh, things are not where we want them to be exactly. And so she and I did a lot of talking. We met with a lot of other leaders and we talked to a lot of people, and it kind of came to this idea of the nail social. So we're gonna pop in. I'm gonna get a little like slideshow presentation-y thing for you. Like we're the real deal today, okay? So I'm gonna share my screen here really quick, and we are gonna talk about the first steps of like why a new party format and that kind of stuff. But I need my notes in there. Let's share the screen here. Okay. Jackie, are you seeing just this little slideshow thing at this point?
Yes.
Okay. We are gonna hop into this. Oops, nope. See, that's not what I wanted to do. Did it make it small?
No.
Oh, that's weird. It made it small for me.
I see your screen and then you are in the corner.
Okay, hold on. There we go. Ready. Okay, so we are the social sisters, because how cute is that, right? We really we're gonna get to the next slide. And it was like, why another party formula? I mean, there are lots of party formulas out there, and they all are relevant. They really, really are. But during this year, and especially during like COVID and all of the things that were going on, we noticed that sales were booming, but parties, they just weren't. Like people like didn't want to party. And it was super weird because like didn't we all have more time on our hands than we ever thought we needed? Um, and we found it was getting increasingly harder to get people to actually like attend the parties. Like to ask somebody to come for 30 minutes was like it, even our hostesses weren't showing up. So it was like almost torture for everyone, which was frustrating. And we noticed that stylists specifically who worked outside of the home were getting burned out, exhausted. they were not partying because it was too much. And therefore, their businesses became stagnant because when you're not partying, you're not bringing in those new people into your inner circle, right? That's the only way you're going to get to know new people, unless you have some tricks that I don't have, because I certainly I don't know any other ways to meet new people. I just don't. So we noticed that people loved the product, loved our product. But you know what? Our price point was amazing and they just weren't willing to commit to a party because they just couldn't commit to another thing. And so bottom line is I actually did some research on this, like some legit research. So during COVID, there was something, and even now there's something called decision fatigue. And what's happened during this, time that we've been in, and this isn't just for COVID times, this party format at all. But what we noticed was that we were making so many decisions that we didn't make on a daily basis. Like we were making decisions on, is it safe for our kid to play on a playground? Like things that we really shouldn't like have to think that hard about, right? And so our brains were just exhausted. And I think that it was showing in different areas of our businesses. Jackie, what do you think? Do you agree with that? Like,
Yeah, I do. We were thrown into a world that was completely abnormal for us. And even though it it kind of became a new normal, the decision fatigue was really left over for so many of us. And like you had mentioned, even before COVID, we've got these stylists who, most stylists, an average stylist works a full-time job. And so what does that look like for her business? Making it a priority to party, but still having time with her family and having time for herself, right? On top of that full-time job. So, that's kind of where the Nail Social was birthed from, was all of these components together, these thoughts together of, how to make things easier and better for everyone.
totally agree. Um, and so as we were like diving into this, we were like, okay, what is working? You guys, sales were booming, like through the roof. Sales were booming, right? And what we realized in that time was it was our VIP groups. Our VIP groups were just exploding and doing really well. And social selling with things like live sales, Zoom parties, that kind of stuff, were doing pretty well too. But it was mainly those were coming from our VIP groups. And then you've got like, if you look here on the screen, it's like stupid little graphics like this or that post were like blowing up. You'd have like 47 people to 500 commenting on this or that, because we all know it's important to know which pie is best. And I'm chocolate all day. How about you?
Honestly, my answer would just be both. I would take one of each, please.
Okay. Okay. Well, actually, I would take 2 pieces of chocolate. We're just going to call it straight. Like, okay. So we were just looking at what was working, and those are the kind of things that we were seeing was our scheduled posts in our VIP groups, the nail fee interaction in our VIP groups. We were doing 3 posts a day in our VIP groups and seeing that the interaction was there. And so let's see what happened. Dun, da, da, da. So it hit us. See? Let's party like we run our VIP groups, right?
Yes.
For me, the biggest revelation was no set party time. It really was. And I knew I had something in there, but I'm a little ADHD and I can squirrel all over the place. My lovely friend Jackie here took my squirrely moments and put them together. So it was maybe she came up with the ideas of, the intentional post, it looking like our VIP groups. And I was like, we can't have a party time because this brain can't handle anything else. I was homeschooling 3 teenagers, you guys. And if you think the middle schoolers, or if you think the elementary schoolers are bad, you should try teaching algebra to a freshman in high school. It just doesn't go well. Like, it's a hard thing. And I couldn't learn it when I was in high school. So anyway, it just hit me that I needed, for me, I needed no party time. And especially even when we go back into like regular school, I'm in the car all the time at night. And so I would be doing lives from my phone and trying to figure it out. It wasn't working for me. And I found myself pulling away from the parties and not doing them like I should because I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. Um, so Jackie, what are your thoughts on this? What made you kind of um, come up with, because really your ideas stemmed around this kind of this VIP group concept.
Yeah. Well, we noticed that people weren't attending parties. We noticed that they weren't showing up. And so, when I really started reworking my party kind of formula, I started with what was working. And I knew that girls' night ins were working, the simple posts like the pie, right? Like, do you want apple pie or you want French silk pie? Like, which one? They are, very easy for people to interact on. They yield strong opinions very easily, right?
Right?
Like, who knew that people had such aggressive thoughts about pie, but they do.
They do.
So, it started from that. And so when I really started kind of revamping and reworking, that's kind of where I started was with the thought of how can I make this more like my VIP group and girls' night in. And when I made some changes to that, I saw some significant improvements in my engagement in my parties. But what I found was that people were still not showing up to the actual party time, including the hostess. I would say more often than not, the hostess wasn't even showing up. So I knew that I was still missing a huge component. And Joy and I had talked back and forth, and she'd had this idea a few months earlier about, Jackie, I really think that there's got to be like no time. People don't want to have to be, someplace, even if it's online. And so it was at that time where I said, I think this is the tweak that the party needs, is it needs to combine the girls' night in and VIP components with the no set time. And that is really where today's Nail Social was born out of, was those two huge factors of no set time. Don't make them be anywhere. Don't tell them what to do. Don't make them have to think about another thing. And how do we engage them? How do we really capture their attention with fun and someplace that they want to come and comment and they can be distracted from everything else in their life, COVID or not? Okay. So that's where this originated from. And I have experienced nothing but really exciting things from the Nail Social since implementing it.
And I'm putting you on the spot here, but I think you can answer it. What has your personal volume been the last couple of months? Since using the Nail Social, what has your PV roughly been?
I would say it averages about 3,500. Last month it was, 3,000 in a J month. In December, where you work 50% of the month, it was over 3,500. And I want to say in November, it was over 4,000. So I would say 3,500 is an average for me using the Nail Social.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? Part of it is because you can have multiple ones going at a time, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And you don't have to set a time like I can only do it at this time of night. Now, we say this is still work. Okay. We're not giving you a magic button and all of a sudden everything is just easy. No, there's still work involved. It's just work on your time and in your schedule, which is actually something that we talk about a lot, right? But then we were like, no, but you got to party from 7 to 9 on Tuesdays or Thursdays. Now, that doesn't mean that that's irrelevant. There are still going to be some hostesses that want that. Use that if you want to. That's great. Like, that's fabulous. But you might find that putting some of these elements in the nail social, you can do that. But we have found that using this formula in the way that we've laid it out is really best if you're going to use this formula. Okay. If you want to use your other formulas, that's great too. You could, grab some ideas from us. That's fine. This party is not the solution to everything. Okay. It still requires work. It still requires engagement. Um, but it's a tool to put in your toolbox. And
Absolutely.
I kind of feel like for me specifically, it's a tool that I desperately needed because I in this season my team exploded, which I am super grateful for. But my personal business was suffering because I was overwhelmed with team, which is okay for a period of time. It's not okay as a leader to not push through and decide that, okay, I have to party just like everybody else, which I was, but not to the level that I needed to be because I was overwhelmed. You guys, I was just overwhelmed. And so this has absolutely given me hope again that I can party effectively and not lose it while I'm in the carpool line picking up my third child from her dance practice. And so those are just some important things to know. It's not the solution to everything, but you guys, if you use it as is intended, I think that you're going to have really great results.
Yeah.
Um,
And, just like any tool that you would use anywhere, the tool does need to be used properly in order to work with the intended results. So I would just encourage you that when you are using the nail social, use it as it is directed, meaning, adding and taking things out, to a point is okay. But the way that we have it laid out for you and we've tested it, we know that we have seen results with it. And I know we'll talk about that here in a little bit, but just keep that in mind, okay? That no, it's not the end all be all. And if what you are doing is working, keep doing that, okay? We're not telling you to change something, but maybe if things do need a tweak, then this might be a tool for you to try out. But make sure that you follow the directions for the tool to be used the way that it was intended. So I hope that's helpful for you guys.
And the reason why is because when we tested it, we were doing things like, okay, if we put this post before this post, does it up engagement that ultimately up sales? Okay. So there's purpose behind why we have things in the order in which we do. And also purpose in the way that we're going to teach you how to invite your friends, have your hostess invite her friends, not you, your hostess. There's purpose in all those. It's not just willy-nilly like, oh, they just have this opinion. We really did do a good amount of testing on it, okay? With lots of leaders here in Color Street, not just Jackie and I, but lots of leaders. Most people have really enjoyed it. There are some that their parties were working great and we applaud that. Like, that is amazing. But there may come a time in their business when they realize, yikes, something's a little stagnant or stale, and they might switch to this type of formulation as well. So when we rolled this out, we rolled it out last month to our teams, but we also rolled it out to some top leaders. And I took a sampling of 25 parties. 72% of those were qualifying over 150 in sales. You guys, we were getting way less than that. And I don't know if you were having this experience, but we were like way less. We would have so many duds, it would be like another one bites the dust. Like it was just like dud after dud. And we were that's so discouraging. It's like, why did I waste my time? Right. Now, that doesn't mean that duds don't happen. They do. And guess what? That's the business. Like sometimes people walk into a retail store and they spend $5,000, and sometimes people walk in and spend nothing. That's just the nature of business, and especially in sales, any kind of sales. But the bigger numbers were that 50% of those were over $300 in sales. So you guys, like, I only just took 25 parties, okay? These are just average people. These are not like stylists, like, you know, who have a following of 9 million people. Okay. These are just average stylists. 50% of those were over 300. So what is that doing? Well, first of all, it's giving your hostess more rewards, which makes her want to host more. It makes it worth her time. Okay. When you're getting a $150 party, they're like, ooh, big flip. I get a set. Woohoo. Like it's just not as lucrative. So we want to get those people at least to the minimum of 300. Plus I get you BQ. Hello. One party, you could be BQ, but you want to be doing more than that because BQ is the minimum. The overall consensus, and I'm going to let Jackie speak to this, is our hostesses make or break. So I'm going to let you talk about that a little.
Yeah. So, our hostesses, they don't know what to do, you guys. So sometimes a hostess will make or break a party because they stink. I mean, if I'm just being honest, maybe they just don't have an interest, or maybe they're not being coached really well. And so, in order for us to give our hostess the best opportunity to have a successful party, we have to do our job in coaching her effectively. And so, what's nice about the Nail Social is that you can easily and effectively coach your hostess to have a successful party. And it's very strategic in the way that we coach our hostess to have a successful party. So one of the major components of that is obviously engagement. If your hostess is not engaged in the party at all, then forget it. It's going to be a dud. But if she is involved from the get-go, then it's typically going to be a more successful party. And this goes for any party format. This isn't like special to the Nail Social. It's just the truth. If people see their friend excited about something, they're probably going to be excited about it as well. Just like if you tell your friend, like, oh my gosh, I got these great shoes at, Marshalls for $25, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I have to go, right? So it's the same thing. It's the same concept when it comes to partying. And giving her the tools to succeed is your job as the stylist. You want to make sure that you're giving her the tools to succeed as a hostess as well, because it really is a partnership. That is a specific word that I use with my hostesses. If they play like my booking game, I use the word partner with me on a Nail Social. I thank her for partnering with me on a Nail Social when I send her a thank you note and gift. So it really is a partnership. I believe it's 50-50 between you and the hostess.
For sure. And the other thing is, if your partner isn't your partner, your hostess isn't engaged, the likelihood of her friends seeing the posts also goes down, because if she's engaged, Facebook's going, oh, look, she likes it. And then more of her friends are going to see things too. And that's the whole reason why we want the hostesses engaged. And we're playing silly, fun games that increase engagement, that kind of thing.
Right. It's so much of this is based around the strategic focus of, engaging your hostess and the Facebook algorithm. It all plays together. So keep that in mind, that if your hostess isn't engaged, that Facebook algorithm is going down.
And then it's just harder to pull yourself out of that. So
right.
Like for example, one of the things we do is we try to get 8 to 10 people in there before you even, you know, you have one post in there, but we want to get 8 to 10 people authentically joining so that Facebook goes, oh, they got something good going on there. Like they have to see that we have something good that people want to see, or they're not going to show it to people. That's how they play.
Yes.
Pardon me. So we did in December, we did a nail social mega party. So we did a mega party with the nail social as the format. And when we were done, we had 201 responses to our guest survey. And the question was this, there was not multiple choice. It was a fill in the blank question. The question is, what did you like most about the party? So 33% responded with the games. I mean, come on. If you don't know what to say, what are you going to say? The games, right? This was the part that was shocking to us. 28% responded that there was no set time. Like we were totally mind blown by that. At least I was, because I think that was like where we really, really realized that we were hitting something correctly, that it made sense. And then 21% said tips and tricks. And I can't see the other thing here. So I think it was other, because there we go. 11% said interacting with stuff. And 7% said other stuff, just random things like the prizes or, stuff like that. So let's go to our next slide. Basically, that's where the Nail Social was birthed. So we're going to give some really quick thank yous to some people that helped us. And then we are going to go to another screen share with something different. And we are going Jackie more than Joy, because Jackie nuts and bolts, Joy squirrely all over. Are going to talk through kind of the reasons. We're going to talk through the Nail Social Guide. The good news is we have a group that you can join that shows the Nail Social done in order. We have everything here. So you can literally print out this guide and walk through the Nail Social and create one probably in a few hours. We do not have graphics for you. That is something that you're going to have to kind of make and do on your own, but they're simple. So I think that most people can accomplish this. So I want to, Jackie, why don't you start with the thank yous here?
Yeah. Well, the Nail Social was really not birthed completely just by Joy and myself, although obviously those were the major components. But there are a couple of people that we really want to thank for some of their significant contributing ideas. Amy Cleaver was really the one that came up with the entire name, the Nail Social. It's just so perfect for what we wanted this party format to look like. She really helped me to nail down what did this timeline look like with the posts, going between her and me and Joy. So thank you so much, Amy, for your help. Sarah, thank you very, very much for your input and ideas with some of the hostess coaching ideas that we have and that we've implemented. And of course, Amanda Todd, we absolutely love her dice game and spin to win game. They have been incredibly successful for us for booking games. We highly recommend purchasing her either dice game or spin to win. They're about the same, just kind of in a different format. So either one is great, but Amanda Todd has really great resources that we love using in our social for bookings. So thank you guys so much for all of your contributions to the Nail Social.
And if we stole or used somebody's idea that we didn't give credit for, listen, sister, that is not because we don't love you. It's because we didn't know. And so we have pulled things together from everywhere for these ideas, most of it in our own brains. But definitely know that we are extremely grateful for all the people that work in this kind of industry and kind of like put their ideas out there for all of us to um, work from. So, Jackie, you're going to have to tell me if I pull this forward, can you now see the social guide? Or are you
Not yet. I'm still seeing
okay?
the,
So I'm going to have to stop our screen share and then I'm going to have to restart a screen share. That's how it's going to roll. Okay, now you can.
yes.
Okay, awesome. So basically, whoops, we got to go up to the beginning because we want to start at the very beginning. I'm going to let Jackie kind of take it from here. This first page, you guys are going to get this nail social guide in the group. It is pinned in the group and you can just print it out. It's there for you. And it just talks about like where this was birthed. We just spent a good amount of minutes talking about that. And why? All right, hold on. Okay. Why is it? Hold on, hold on. Little technical difficulty here. It's like going down pages. Okay, here we go. I got it. I got it, girlfriends. So, initial booking. What do you want to start there? How do you look, we're winging this, folks. We're winging this and we're pretty darn good winging it. But Jackie, how do you want to do this?
I'll just kind of dive in from when they book, right? So
Okay.
you got your booking, right? And you go, you're like, okay, well, what do I do? Like the nail social is 4 days, right? It happens over 4 days and there's no set party time. So how do I work this into my calendar, right? So what I have been asking my future hostesses is, what month works for you, this month or next month, and then I'll offer them this this week or next week, whatever week it is. So I'll say the week of February 1st or the week of February 15th. Okay. So it's not a specific date, right? Because there's no party time. So once we nail that down, then I just let her know, great, I'm so excited. I will take care of just about everything for you. I will set up the group and then I will be in touch with you a few days before we start to let you know what I need you to do and coach you through your part. And I use that word, coach you through what to do. Okay. So she knows that she's not going to be left to the wolves to figure out what to do because our hostesses, they don't know what to do. That's okay. They don't need to know what to do. And we don't want them to know what to do. We want to coach them. We want to tell them what they need to do. So, for example, I will typically start my nail socials on either a Sunday or a Monday. That's the first day that I will post. So for me, I need to be in touch with my hostess no later than Friday if I'm going to start it on Monday, and no later than Thursday if I'm going to start it on Sunday. Okay, so about 3 days before.
And if you look here where it says host coaching in the nail social guide, you're going to see 3 days before first day of nail social. And a little pro tip is you're going to put your host coaching start date in your calendar and your party start date in your calendar.
Yes, I highly recommend blocking your time. I will tell you guys that if you aren't disciplined, and this isn't just for the nail social, this is for any party format, but if you are not disciplined in blocking your time, you guys are going to be literally working all of the time, which it completely defeats the purpose of having your own business, right? We want to have time for our families and to do things that we want to do. So please make sure that you do block these things in your calendar, like Joy said. So if you're starting your nail social party on Sunday, then you've got it written in your planner, Coach, Joy and Lauren on Thursday night. Okay. So you definitely want to start with that. Your host coaching begins. Again, we're going to be really strategic. Okay. Another thing that we found previously was that coaching our hostesses to invite 50 people, even when we gave them the prompts of, a frank list, friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, and kids contacts, that they were still very overwhelmed. I can't tell you the number of times that I had hostesses say, I don't know that many people, all while they had, 675 friends on Facebook. And it's like, listen, sister, you do. But the thought was overwhelming for them. So what we did in the Nail Social is we broke that down. And we said, we're going to ask our hostess to contact in a private message just 20 people, just 20. Start with 20 people that she's going to organically invite. And we're going to prompt her with a sample message, encourage her to change the verbiage. She's going to send that out. As soon as she starts getting some responses of, yes, I'd like to attend, then she's going to give them the follow-up verbiage, which we equip her with, of how to get into the Nail Social group. Okay.
And now, it's all written out here for you in your guide.
Yes. Yes. Once they're added into the group, they're already going to see a welcome message. It's the first pinned post that is in the Nail Social group. Okay. And it's basically an introduction, gives them an expectation of what's going to happen in the Nail Social, how it works, how there's no set time. It takes place over 4 days, things like that. It outlines the entire thing for them in that pinned post. Okay. So initially we're just getting 8 to 10 people in there. We've asked her to extend the invite to 20 people to hopefully get 8 to 10 people in there to initially be in the group. Then we're going to welcome the people. I tag in a message, in a comment in that pinned post, everybody when they join. So if they've come in, okay. So
that's
Amy,
huge.
It is huge. Okay. That begins building your Facebook algorithm. Okay. So, hi, Amy, welcome to the social. I'm so glad you're here. Make sure you read this post so you know how everything works. Oh, Margot, she joined us. Okay. Welcome, Margot. I'm really happy you're here. Take a look at this post. It outlines how this social works. Thanks for being here. So I'm going to do that in separate comments every time. It's real easy to want to just tag everybody in one specific comment. Don't do it. Okay. So that gets your initial algorithm going. It gets people in there. The next day, so let's say I started coaching on Thursday. Then Friday, after there's 8 to 10 people in there, I'm going to get back with my hostess and I'm going to tell her, Joy, here's your next piece of coaching. I want you to actually go into your Nail Social group, hit the invite button, and invite about 30 more people. Now, are all those 30 people going to accept the invite? No, of course they're not. Okay. People get lots and lots of notifications, but we know for a fact that people, they put their eyes on their Facebook watching eyes, and they will go into that group and they will look and see how many people are in there. Is there like 8 bazillion people in there and they're going to be overwhelmed? Is there like 0 people in there and it's going to be a total drag? Or is there, a moderate amount of people where this might be a good time? Well, if you have about 8 to 10 people in the party already, they're going to say, hey, this might be a good time for me to have. So I think I'm going to join, and they're going to hit accept invite. So typically between your hostess inviting organically through a private message to 20 people, and then extend. Sorry, Joy, go ahead.
Interrupt you. A lot of people miss this step. They don't understand that how you get somebody to organically join is you need to go into your group, and at the top, there's a URL there. You're going to copy and paste that and send. That creates a link you're going to send to your hostess to send to her people. That's how they're going to organically join. That invite button is going to squash everything if they go in there and use that first. In fact, we don't even let the hostess in there until she has the link for herself to join organically, and then also to give out to her friends. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think that that's been a misstep. A lot of people are like, just don't understand what it means to organically get people in there versus using that invite button.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that is where I think a lot was missed previously, is letting our hostess in too early. You don't want to do that. You really want her to understand the process. And I've had hostesses ask me, well, can't I just go in the group and invite people? And this is what I tell them, you guys. I say, you know what? Stick with me on this. Okay. Just trust that I am doing what is going to earn you the most hostess rewards possible. Everything that I'm doing is strategic for you to have an amazing party. And typically, when I tell them something to that effect, they will hop on board with me. I can tell you, if they haven't hopped on board at that point, your hostess probably hasn't bought into, you know, the party, but that's fine. 9 times out of 10, they're going to follow your coaching when you say, hey, stick with me, sis. I promise that I'm doing this for a reason. There's a method to my madness. So yeah, organically, that is in my hostess coaching to my hostess is, in the little bit that I give her for a secondary message to send to those 20 people or however many say, yes, I would like an invite. That link is in there for them to organically join. So she does not need to invite them until I tell her to use the invite button. Okay. So from there, then I will make sure, and I may not be going like perfectly in order, but I'm trying to stay in order here.
But it's
Then
okay, because this whole guide is at your fingertips, ladies. You're going to be able to print it out. You're going to be fine.
And what I have done, and I'm on my phone, Joy's on her computer, so I can't see everything perfectly, but I have all of my hostess coaching saved in the notes in my phone. So it sounds like me. I've changed it to sound like me. And then it's saved in my phone so that when I coach my hostess, it sounds like me. It's already ready to go. So I can copy and paste to coach my hostess. Okay. But once she's gotten those people in there, we've told her to invite inside the group by using the invite button. Then I also give her an additional incentive. This is completely up to you on whether you want to use it or not. But let me just tell you, just as much as we as stylists love incentives, so do our hostesses. Okay. So we've created an additional tool to give, or incentive. It's a tool for you to use with your hostess as an incentive that she can use. It's additional bonus social perks is what we call them. So she can earn up to $25 an additional free credit, Color Street Cash, however you would like to redeem it, for completing the 4 different tasks that are outlined on that particular image. Okay. I'm not going to go through everything because otherwise this training would be like forever long. And right. I don't want to do that. You guys can read, you check it out. I will just tell you, you can use it or not. If you're not in a place in your business where you can give out these types of rewards, that's okay. If you are, and I really, Joy and I talked about really making this so that we felt the average stylist would be able to kind of pay out these additional rewards. We find that it is very helpful, and we find that for most stylists, they'll be able to use this kind of reward price point to reward their hostesses. So use those social perks if you would like them, and it's not required. Okay. The other thing that is a great, great tool for your hostess is the secret agent. Okay. This is, if you've ever heard of like the secret elf or the secret girlfriend, Sarah Rogers came up with this, over the holiday season.
She just brought it to us.
She brought it to us. It was so cute, and it worked really well over Christmas. And we have gone forward using the secret agent, and it has been great. And so what this is it's having your hostess ask a few of her friends. We suggest one friend for every 10 people who join her group to be the secret agent. And the secret agent, all she has to do is comment on every single post in the social, and she's rewarded for doing so. Again, this is completely optional, but it's a tool to give your hostess that we feel has been very effective. Again, it boosts the Facebook algorithm. It gets other people seeing that someone is engaging, that somebody else is engaging. It just really lifts the environment of the party so that people see that there is engagement happening, there is fun happening. I mean, obviously there's fun happening, but they're seeing that with the comments happening there as well.
And
Um,
you'll see that we give in our sample, it's 10% off an order if they do this. You could do something like free shipping. So you can adjust it to, I mean, people will literally do almost anything for free shipping, which makes me laugh because our shipping's only $3, but they will. And so I would just encourage you, like if you feel like that 10% is too much for you, you need to crunch your numbers for your business. But do something because I'm telling you, the secret agent is something that boosts up the engagement, and that's how you get more sales. So don't blindly just say, oh, I can't afford that. And I want you to really think through why you should afford that before
mhm,
saying, I can't afford that. And you're going to
absolutely.
need to, on some of these things, you need to be able to invoice. And if you haven't figured out how to do that, you need to. So Square, PayPal, I know Venmo now has a business option as well. I haven't tried it, but I think those three are business savvy and ready. So those are the things that I would go with.
Absolutely. And if you're not familiar with how to do those sorts of things, please seek out a training from your upline. One of the groups that you're in for your upline leadership probably has a training that you can check out if the Color Street app doesn't have that already in there, as far as like something that you're not sure of. Like I know the Color Street app is not going to have something about how to invoice, but it will be a resource, for other things. So check with your upline leaders if you aren't sure how to execute invoicing or something similar. Okay. The last bit of coaching that I give to my hostess before the party starts is to encourage her to post a testimony, right? We already talked about how the hostess has such influence with her friends and family, and the testimony is going to speak volumes to her friends and family if she can post a nail fee with a testimony of what she loves about Color Street, how she came to start using it, maybe why she had been skeptical and then overcome that. You're welcome to send her something, as a sample if you want, but I usually just coach her to please post a testimony with a nail fee and to also then post that on her personal Facebook timeline so that anybody who maybe she didn't think to invite, if they would like an invite, knows that she is having a nail social and that if they would like to join, to let her know. So that's kind of the last bit before the party starts. You want to be reminding your hostess throughout the party to be engaging with her friends and family, of course, because a lot of hostesses don't understand the weight that they carry when they host a party. They think that it's all about the free product, which of course it is, but they don't understand their role. So you have to make sure that she understands her role. And a lot of times, the comparison that I will give her is if these people were at your house, you wouldn't just sit on the couch and watch what was happening. You would be engaging with them. You would be engaged in the conversations, chit chatting with them. And so the online format would be no different for her as well. Okay. So, Joy, before I move on to day one, is there anything you want to add in there?
Just the a couple days before the social, you definitely want, if you've got a hostess who's killing it, guess what you want to do? You want to ask her to join your team. Okay. And so that's just in here. It's the hostess coaching stuff. you guys, it'll tell you the day, it'll give you, sample verbiage, and it'll give you some other like little detail information. The thing with asking a hostess to join, guys, be authentic. Like if they're just like, oh my gosh, you have so many friends that are just dying to support you, say that. But if they don't say that. So this is one area that you're going to have to dig deep and really say, number one, do you want this person on your team? The only reason why you may not want them is if they're a crappy hostess, okay? The other thing is that's probably the only reason why you're not going to offer the business to somebody, is if they're just really not even engaged or following your instructions at all, okay? Other than that, you probably want to ask. So, that would be the only other thing that I would add to this, but everything is laid out for you to coach. And I think that you are going to get a really, really robust understanding of how to effectively coach a hostess and having a great party. And I think that's been something that a lot of people miss. The number one thing that is going to make your party great is getting your hostess buy-in. So you're all going to have a dud here and there, but get her buy-in as much as you can. And how you do that is through effective hostess coaching. So let's go on to day one. I'll really quick talk about the just the setup, and then you can go into the days of like when you set up the party. One of the things that I have found is really effective is putting the face of your friend on the cover of your hostess, not your friend, but your hostess. She may be your friend. Well, here's why. Because people are going to be like scrolling and they're going to be like, get this invite or whatever. And they're going to be like, oh, look, it's my friend. And they're going to join. Okay. If you have this thing that has like nails on it and it just says, Color Street Party, people are going to be like, I've been to one of those. Or, nah, I'm not interested. But if they see something fun with their friend's face and something that screams like, let's have fun, they're going to dive in. They're going to join. I've actually asked people like, why did you join? And they're like, because I wanted to see what my friend was doing. It's not necessarily just because of the nail strips. And so I think you guys need to pull away from everything being Color Street centric and making this is about social. This is about friendships and fun. And they may not buy at your party, but they may join your VIP group. And once they do that, then, it might take them 4 months and they're finally like, okay, I'm going to try this stuff. Like, this is crazy. Why you guys all love it so much? So don't remember, it's all about them and loving you as the stylist and loving their friend too. So think about that when you make a cover photo. Think about that when you are creating things. If you are like, I'm not an image graphics person, listen, sister. Like I've said sister twice now, you've said it once. I guess that's going to be our thing, right? We're going to call it. But I didn't even know what Canva was when I started 3.5 years ago. I legit didn't know. And nor did I know what Zoom was. So now that seems silly, but I was like, what's Zoom? 3.5 years ago, folks. Like, let's go back there. But if I can learn it, so can you. So stop saying that's a limiting mindset. Oh, I don't know how. Yes, you can figure it out. Maybe you don't do all of your own graphics. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that. But for something like this, you can learn it. It'll take you 5 or 10 minutes. And it's worth it because it's personalized for your hostess. So, and then I'll let you jump in to the rest here.
Yes. So then you want to make sure to include like in your group description. And I want to say that this was adapted from something that I saw with Monica Arce. So credit to her for probably a majority of this. It was adapted, just this little description. I like it because it really outlines quickly what Color Street is and how affordable it is. So you just want to make sure that you do have a group description. It makes your group more complete. Again, Facebook loves that, right? Algorithms. So most people won't pay attention to this just because they will see the pinned post and understand, what the Nail Social is. But it is important to include this in your group description for the people that will see it, that will look for it, and for the Facebook algorithm to be kind of complete with the group. All right. So let's move into what does it actually look like in the group. I mentioned this earlier, but before anybody is ever in the group, you're going to have a pinned post. It's going to be a 4-picture post, and it's going to include, like a little welcome image. It should probably include, if you're going to do an early bird special, let's see what else is in there. Participation, that you're going to reward participation, and then a prompt of some sort. So I've been using, Google Color Street manicure and have them post a picture in the comments. Okay. The 4-picture posts are really, they capture the attention of people. And when you click on the images, it will give them, further instruction if needed. So for the early bird, for example, the early bird, when they click on it, would say what the early bird special is, when it expires, and any shopping specials that are going to be happening with the party. Okay. Now, I used to wait until like a party post, like a shopping post, to post the shopping specials. But what we found was that people were like, oh, I wish I would have known about this on day one when I shopped for the early bird special. So I'm including all of it now. Okay. I'm including all of the early bird special and the shopping specials, which for me is like a have it all special and a baker's dozen, at a certain price. That's up to you on what you want to do. All right. But when they click on early bird special, that's what they're going to see. Is they're going to see, whatever it is that you're offering. Participation, when they click on participation, they're going to see outlined, okay, hey, I give prizes for participating. If you're an active participant, I'm going to pick one active participant to win a gift from me. Okay. We like not saying specifically what that is, because what you give somebody as a prize might change based upon, what you have available, or, if you can give away a full set, or maybe it's just going to be a pampering item. Who knows? That's again up to you. So what you're going to find is in the Nail Social format, you're going to be able to adapt certain things. Okay. So it is outlined. I would encourage you to stick with the format, but obviously there's a little bit of wiggle room. Okay. It's not like it has to be exactly what we say, but you really want to stick with the example that we give you. Okay.
So should we really quick? I just want to interject. The thing is, the actual party is going to be 4 days long. There are going to be 3 posts a day. That's the basic formula. And what are the times, Jackie? Because that I think is super important for people to understand. So 4 posts a day. So you've got that in there, 4 posts a day. And then we're going to do 4 days, 3 posts a day. Timing of those. What is the timing of those and why?
Yeah. So 3 posts a day is enough to get your algorithm in your group going. Okay. And then the times are strategic to when people are typically on Facebook. So the times are typically around, 6:50, 6:50 or 6:30 in the morning, noon, and then around 8 p.m. at night. And that's because that's when we notice that people are on Facebook. If you've ever looked at your VIP group statistics, it actually has a place where you can go and you'll see the times that people are active in your group. And that is what we have found, is that they are most active at, morning, noon, and before bedtime. So if we can show them these posts at the times that they're going to be on Facebook, we have a better chance of engaging with them and the post not falling flat before Facebook stops showing it to people. If you're not familiar with how Facebook algorithms work, I mean, is anybody actually familiar with how it works? Nobody really knows, but
It's a game.
it's a game. It's constantly changing, but there are some things that we have learned stay pretty true, which is if it's engaged upon, Facebook will show it to more people, and hopefully those people engage it. As it is engaged upon more, Facebook will show it to more people. Okay. So if I can get it in front of my audience at a time where I know they're going to be on Facebook, my chances of it being shown to more people go up. If I post something at 2:30 in the afternoon when everybody has already come back from their lunch break at work and they're not on Facebook anymore, what Facebook thinks is happening is they think, oh gosh, nobody cares about this post. I'm going to stop showing it to people. Nobody's engaging on it. Okay. And so then, it stops being shown to people and it completely falls flat. So again, the strategic way that we have outlined this is for your benefit and your host's benefit. So I would encourage you to do that. One of the things that I try to do is because I use a post scheduler for these, I do try to have them post in the time zone in which my hostess is in, because most of the time zone that she is in is a majority of her friends and families live in that time zone as well. So like for Joy, she's on Mountain Time. If she's my hostess, I'm going to go ahead and set my post to schedule for Mountain Time, 6 a.m., noon, and 8 p.m. Mountain Time, because that is probably going to be when she is on and when her guests are on. Even though it's not a set time, it's just more likely that she's going to be on Facebook at that time. I'm not going to go through every single detail of every single post. It's outlined here for you guys. Okay. So day one, post one is going to be a kind of get to know you post. You'll introduce yourself, but really the thing that you want them to see is, I want to get to know you. You're in relationship building mode. Okay. This is what this is. Of course, we want them to shop. Yes. But ultimately, what a party is doing is getting you in front of a group of people to start building relationships, as opposed to, handing out one sample to the clerk at the grocery store or one sample to the girl at the bank, right? This gets you in front of people to allow you to start meeting them so that they will learn to know, like, and trust you, which is what is proven to have people buy from you. People will buy from people that they know, like, and trust. We want to make you that person, but you can't do that unless you build a relationship with them. So I want you guys to really focus, instead of on the sales, those will come. You want to focus on the relationship building, and that starts with a get to know you, but make it a little bit more about get to know them. You are going to introduce yourself. Joy and I each have a little of an example of, something that you could say. Ours are both very different, but you get to know us and the things that we like in our little blurb that we have, right? And with that, I want to encourage you guys when somebody comments. So Joy says, I know about Joy that she loves Coke Zero with vanilla. And I know that I love Sprite mini, like the mini cans. All right. And I also know that in this pandemic, it's been hard to find my mini cans of Sprite. So I might ask Joy, if she says, she comments, she says she's Joy and she's a mom to 3 and she loves Coke Zero with vanilla. I might say, Joy, have you had any trouble finding your Coke Zero with vanilla in this pandemic? Because my Sprite minis have been really hard to find at the grocery store.
And Joy
Okay,
was
that
like, yes.
yes, her answer would be yes. It's been very hard. Okay, now that might seem like a really silly example, you guys, but the point is this: I am asking her a question. I am engaging with her. I have read what she's written. I have taken a piece of what she has said, and I am replying to that. Now, some people might say, I have 2 kids and I work full time and I have a dog, and that's all they say. And so you might think, well, gosh, Jackie, what do I say to that? You know what you say? How old are your kids? They'll answer. Or if they said how old their kids are, I would, Sally, I would love to see a picture of your dog. Post a picture below. What breed is your dog? Find a way. Find a way to
The most
ask them.
insulting thing you can do is click like.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
we think that we're being really nice, but we're not getting to know people. And I'm not saying like you can't ever do that, but that's like going through and clicking night like is not having an engagement with them. Um, I want to interject something really quick. You're obviously going, oh my gosh, this is a lot of an engagement, right? Yes, but what you're going to do is you're doing it on the times that work for you. So you are not going to respond to when you see all the notifications, you're going to ignore them and you're going to go into that party 1 or 2 times a day and respond all at once. You are
Yes.
not responding immediately. I want to make that really clear because if you feel like you need to respond immediately, you're going to go nutso and you're also going to be on Facebook all day long. And that is not
Yes.
what you need to be doing. You
No.
get in there 1 or 2 times a day, you respond to everything at each of those times, and you move on. You might miss something here and there, but really try to respond as much as possible. Don't like let your notifications sit and go in all at once and do them.
Yeah. And if you're a notification Nazi like I am, where you're like, oh my God, the notifications, clear your notifications. And when you go in 1 or 2 a day, I literally will just start at the bottom of the social and scroll up and see if there's any new comments, and I respond to them. I do it in the morning after I've dropped off my son, and I do it when I have my pajamas on and I've gotten into bed. And that is what I will do when I have my nail social days going on. Because if you ever intend to do, well, even if you only do one a week, if you ever intend to do more than one a week, sis, I am telling you, you will go crazy. Just like Joy said, you will feel like you have to be on Facebook all of the time, which completely defeats the purpose of the nail social. Okay. So set those boundaries. Like we talked about earlier in this training, set those boundaries and you have to stick to them. You
Yep,
just have to.
yep, for
Okay.
sure.
Um, so after post 1, we've got a game. Um, we like to use for the second game something that's like how many nails. This could be a picture with hidden nail strips in it. It could be like a word or an image made out of nail strips. You guys don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have really great graphics groups that some people love creating these. So if you're like me and you're like, I don't know how to create that, or that's not my jam to create that, then go to one of the graphics groups and grab that and use it. Make sure you're not going to alter it or anything like that. Please make sure that you're abiding by the rules of the graphics groups and the people who made them, but go grab that and use that. One of the things, Joy, I'm going to actually let you talk about this. Why don't you talk about the strategic um, kind of thinking behind the games and the winners of the games? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So the very first game that we do is a numbers game, right? And the goal of that game is to actually get people into your VIP spaces, okay? And so the strategy is they get one guess, right? And then if they go join your group, they can get more guesses. And that is one strategy. And so the first post, the first game, you always want it to be a number related game of some sort. They've got to choose a number and they can only choose one number at first. and then they can earn their more prizes, okay, but or earn their more guesses by joining your group, because that's again where more authentic relationship is going to take place over the long haul. So the other strategy behind it is this strategy of always going for the booking. So every single game and every single thing that we have in the entire Nail Social, for the most part, is about getting a booking. Okay. So this person, it doesn't say 15 people get the right answer. That's amazing. You're going to go to every single one of those 15 people and you're going to get the booking privately. And you're going to say, woohoo, you're a winner, right? And you're going to, at that point, say, would you like a self-care item, or would you like to do your very own nail social, just like what you're in, and upgrade to an amazing nails bag, swag bag, whatever, right? And you're going to upgrade them. So every single person is going to get this. You guys, we have found it's about a 50-50 ratio. And when I say a nail, when we say a self-care kit or item, y'all, if you are not getting posh samples, go get some posh samples. They're super inexpensive, and you're going to send them just a note. Thank you so much for playing the game. And you're going to send them something that is very inexpensive, not even $1 for them. And so, but I feel like we've had a 50-50 response rate as far as getting the booking versus the self-care item. And guess what, guys? If you get the booking, aren't you going to send out a hosted packet anyway? Yes, yes, you are. And so it's the same thing, except you've just turned it and made them feel like they're getting an even better deal, which they are, because they want to have a nail social with their friends too. So the strategy behind every game, the ultimate strategy is we're going for the booking. Okay. And I will tell you that by doing this, coupled with the the dice game or the win spin to win, I have doubled my party count, because Jackie has so many parties that she has too many at this point. I'm not even kidding. And you guys, that's crazy business. I know that I will get to that point. I haven't been partying quite as much as Jackie has been. My team's a smidge bigger, and so I've had to spend a little bit more time on team stuff. But my parties now are definitely like, I'm going to get to that place too where I'm going to have too many. And that's a good problem, especially as a leader, because we're going to be able to help our teams to get their booking chains going as well. So that's kind of the strategy behind games and the numbers. Why numbers? That's why. The next one that we do, the next game is you is like a happy, like in the sample here, it's you say happy until I say new year. Well, why? Well, because whomever says new year, you're going to hand pick, or whoever says happy, you're going to hand pick that person. You're like, oh, she hasn't won anything yet, I'm going to pick her to be the winner of this one. And then you go back to a private message, and it's that same thing. You're going for the booking. So you can hand pick some of your winners. That's okay. That's strategy. That's good business. All right.
Absolutely.
So let's go.
So, after the game was the second post on day one, and then your third post is going to be a 4-picture post, and so this is going to basically kind of be like your ultimate Color Street info post. What do they need to know about Color Street? Okay, so you want to include a video, an application video, preferably your own. You want to let them know how do they remove it. And you can include, like for me, when they click on, how to remove it, then I have links to my favorite nail polish removers, the room temperature tip. So maybe a tip in there, it could be room temperature, make sure they're at room temperature, another tip that you really like. And then we talk about, what about my toes? And so it talks about how we have pedicure strips, as well as the fact that the regular sets work on your toes as well. So Day one, post 3 is really kind of like the ultimate information post, so that for the rest of the social, you can kind of get back to the fun stuff, um, where they're winning prizes and things like that. Um, Joy, is there anything you want to add about that 4 picture post?
Other than if you want to go live and do a live video, you can, but you definitely still want to have a video in this thing here. You can go live at any time you want and do an application if you want, but if it's
Yeah.
you in the application video, they're still getting to know, like, and trust you. But
Yes.
sometimes live does get more engagement, and not engagement, it gets more algorithm support. So sometimes if you want to go live, more power to you.
Absolutely. And, an opportunity to go live is you could do that for the very first post on day one, of the get to know you post. You could totally do that. So, if that's something that you love doing, do it. It is. It has a higher algorithm than, a YouTube link. So um, use your best judgment and go with that. Day 2, post 1 is going to be, what is your personality? So you're just asking them, do they like solids, glitters, art, or French? And have a picture of each of those as an example for a 4 picture post. And you could grab those from the Nail Fees group. Make sure that you are, again, abiding by the rules from the Nail Fees group. That could be from Color Street Stylist Assets. Please make sure that you are following the proper guidelines with using those images as well. And as they respond to that, again, how do you engage with them? So Joyce says, oh, I love glitters. So could you just hit like and move on? Of course. And maybe that would seem like the proper thing to do, but I am going to encourage you to stretch yourself to engage on that. So for example, they say they like glitter. And I would say, Joy, my favorite is glitter as well. I love all of the sparkle. What are your go-to colors for winter? And she might say, oh, I love grays and blacks for winter time. So then guess what? I am going to reply back and I'm going to post a picture of a nail fee of something that goes with what she just told me. So something, Berlin to win it with, a glitter overlay. And I'll say maybe something like this, question mark. And then she'll respond with, oh my gosh, I love that. And then I'll tell her what it is and to get it on her wish list. Okay. So that's just one example of how do you engage on something where they reply with one word. You guys, if you are not asking them about them, if you basically the only posts that you should ever be hitting like on is the ones that are like the game for like Happy New Year.
Right.
Or whatever, Happy Valentine's Day, or, of course, that's not going to warrant a response. They're playing a game, but pretty much everything else you need to be engaging on. All right. So post 2, day 2, post 2 is going to be another game. In this example, it's the Happy New Year game. Like I just said, it's not going to warrant a response, but do go ahead and make sure you click like on their comments so they know that you're like seeing what they're doing. And then day 2, post 3 is asking them what manicure they would pair with a specific outfit. Please adhere to the rules of wherever you get the image. Proper credit is due. Don't just Google and steal something. Make sure that you are giving proper photo credit. In the example here, we got that off of Canva. You could use Pinterest, but if you do, make sure that you use the link back to the pin. So it's preferred that you would have your own Pinterest account and it pin an outfit to a board that you have in Pinterest, and then make sure that you use that link so that proper credit is being given, because Every pin has an original source, even if you've pinned it. So just do that. And then, so go ahead, Joy.
No, I coughed.
Oh, okay. So if they say, oh, the top right, you know, they may say that they would pair that manicure with that outfit, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they would wear it or they would like it. So I'll ask them, Joy, is this a manicure that you would wear too? And she'll tell me yes or no, and I'll engage from there. So, yes, you may be a little bit repetitive in some of your engagement, but trust me, these people are not going back and seeing how you're interacting with, 4 other people on this post or 10 other people on a post. They're just looking at your response to them. Okay. So it feels redundant to you, but it's not. It's okay. Um, so moving on to day 3. All right. Day 3 is going to start with a game. And in this particular example, we're using predictive text. And so you can start, make whatever you want for predictive text. Try to respond back. It's always going to be something funny. Just try to respond back as best you can with something engaging. It's a little bit harder on the predictive text, but trust me, you can always find a way. All right.
This is
And
also where we put the either highlighting a mini collection or highlighting a foundation strip. So you can do
you
that.
would just swap those out.
Right. Or if you have really low engagement, you could do this as 2 posts. You don't want to have 47 posts in your party, okay? At the end of this, it may sound like we're going through a lot, but it's really 13 posts. I would really try your best to keep your party under 15 posts because people are going to be like, oh, Lord, have mercy, that's so many. So don't overwhelm people with posts, but 1 or 2 extras, like this one has, you can either do the mini collection or the foundation strip that you can highlight. And then if your engagement is really low, you could do the predictive text, or you could do the predictive text and not do those. So this one has some wiggle room.
Absolutely. Make the best decision for your business and what's happening with the nail strips. Then noon post is going to be a booking game of some kind. We love Amanda Todd's booking games, Spin the Wheel or the Dice Game. It works really, really well. Between using the booking game and the strategic response for our game winners, I have ridiculous amount of bookings. Too many, definitely. I do 4 parties a week. I have 4 parties booked all the way through February, and I have, I don't know, 7 or 8 already booked for March. Okay. I had a full January calendar. I'm telling you guys, it's the best $30 that you'll ever spend. It really, really was. It changed my business last year when I purchased it. So if that is not something that you can do, I would encourage you to go into the graphics group to find a booking game or create your own. Don't skip out on the booking game. Okay. So that's going to be your day 3 noon post.
Now,
You can, sorry, Joy, go ahead.
That's one minor thing is you're not going to tell the people, you're going to respond to them, hey, I'll send you your envelope later on. And guess when you're sending their envelope? Not until after the shopping link, because sometimes people don't shop if they have a party booked. Okay. So you're going to respond to them, but you're not necessarily going to immediately send that envelope saying what they won. Or you can do the part that's like deal or hold to get them like that part, but you want to wait until after the shopping post, which is the next post, because you want them shopping and you want them shopping for their hostess. So we don't want anything to stop them.
Yes. So day 3, post 3 is going to be your shopping post. So this is kind of where it incorporates, if you guys are used to a, traditional timed party, This is like your shopping post. If they haven't already shopped, this is their time to shop. It just kind of outlines, you can click the shopping link. I do have shopping specials if you would like them. So that's the pictures that we include in that particular post. You can use a shopping album there. If you're used to using a shopping album, great, use it. I think it works great. If you are really trying to make this something where you're just touching it, morning and evening, the shopping link obviously is kind of your short and sweet thing. But I do highly recommend a custom album as well. That works just as great. You do not have to offer shopping specials. Obviously, our buy 3, get 1 free and buy 1, get 1 free deals are always on, and they're always great deals. So don't feel like you have to do that. That's completely at your discretion. But use those if you would like. Day 4, post 1 is going to start with another little game. This is so fun because this gives you another really great opportunity to offer prizes / bookings to those who haven't gotten them yet. So 2 truths and a lie is the game that we're doing. And, they just type out 2 truths and a lie, and you are going to guess which one is the lie. And if you are wrong, you're going to offer them a prize / booking if they haven't already won and booked. Obviously, if you get it right, then, you got it right. But I don't know. It's probably going to result in a lot of times getting it wrong, which is great because it gives you the opportunity to privately message them and offer them a prize or a booking. So game. And then at noon, we have double entries, is basically asking opportunity to ask about the business. Now with this, we have basically just laid it out there. Okay. So we say we're not going to beat around the bush. I would love to tell you all about what I do. We're going to let you ask anything to me, personal or business. And then we prompt them and give them kind of a cheat and say, the first person to read this can ask the question, how often do I get my hair done? Now, if you don't get your hair done, obviously that doesn't work for you. So change it to work for you. Okay. For Joy and I, that has been a huge business blessing for us that we can actually go to the salon and get our hair cut, colored, highlighted, whatever we want a few times a year, whereas we couldn't do that before.
For sure.
So make it work for you. All right. You're not going to use that if you don't go to the salon and get your hair done a few times a year. And then the last post is your last call. You're saying, hey guys, we're about to close up shop here. If you haven't shopped, now's the time. I also, before this, I didn't mention this earlier, but I want to remind you guys, sometime during day 4, you're going to coach your hostess with verbiage to thank each guest and remind them to shop and give them the shopping link and the link to the video and all of that. That's outlined in the hostess coaching for you, so that hopefully by the time that they see the last call, it's kind of a moot point because everybody's already had a last call by the hostess private messaging them with a thank you for joining me. And here's the information that you need to know if you haven't shopped yet. So that is there. But if for some reason they missed it, it is all outlined here. You're thanking the hostess. You're thanking the guests for being there. You're going to link the shopping link, your video, and your VIP group link in this post. Okay. So that is the post. It should be 13, maybe 14 posts if you end up posting 4 times on day 4. Or day 3, excuse me. If you post 4 times on day 3, then it would be a total of 13 posts. So while I know that this training has been a little bit longer, I don't want you guys to be overwhelmed. This is laid out for you in the document. And you guys, Joyce spent so much time putting this together. Okay. It it's put together really well for you, to navigate easily, for you to be able to copy and paste this into your notes to sound like you, please, to sound like you, okay, not like us, and to be able to utilize it. So I really think that you guys are going to be able to take this format, put some images with it, and put it together um, very quickly, like Joy said, in a few hours in a day.
And especially because we're going to have the group. So the link to the group is there. And the link, and then the document is in there that you can kind of pull out. It may sound overwhelming, but as you walk through it, you're going to be like, oh, it's going to make sense. You're going to be able to do it. So if you have hung with us this long, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is kind of, there's not an easy way to do it faster. But once for us to explain it, but once you get into it, it is going to be fast. So yeah, I'm really glad that you took the time to watch this. If you have questions, first go to the upline leader that brought this training to you, or just in general, try to be a problem solver. I know that sometimes people want to ask every single question. Please try to think, how can I problem solve this myself? You're not going to be wrong, probably. So take a deep breath, trust your instincts, and, you know, enjoy having another format to kind of have a little bit more freedom. And again, the number one thing is make sure you're not tied to your phone by those notifications, because then you are going to feel like you're working all the time. So, that is it, right? Did we do it, Jackie? I think we did
I
it.
think that's it. I think we did. You
Awesome.
guys were so encouraged by the feedback that we've already received. And again, this is a tool for your toolbox. Use it the way the tool is intended. If it's something that you're like, you know what, this is not my jam, that's okay. It doesn't have to be your jam. This is a tool, and we want to be able to give that to you to use. We've found tremendous success with it, and are just so excited to hear about all the successes it brings to your business as well. And like Joy said, if you guys need some help, let's be solution seekers first. Reach out to your upline if you just absolutely cannot find a solution for yourself, and then they can bring the questions back to us for any clarification that's needed. But we're just so grateful for you taking the time to hear about this party format, and we hope that understanding the strategic thought behind it and the purpose behind it is really helpful for you going and implementing it.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you guys.